my way.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, thanks so much for joining. Today I am bringing you another episode of our Drifter Challenge, and if you are not part of the Raven family, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can join in on the Raven family fun. And if you hit that notification bell, it's going to notify you when new things go live on the channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So as you can see, today in the game is the Flower Festival, and for this episode they are going to be celebrating that Flower Festival, but it's going to look a little different because the only one that we can really control is Jayden. So they should hunt for Easter eggs, talk to the flower bunny, and exchange some flowers. But it's going to be really difficult for us to do that because unless they actually do that on their own, we can't really partake in that because I can't control any sim except for Jayden, as we know in this challenge. So I don't know how anyone's flower festival is going to go other than Jayden, but we will try to go ahead and get her to hunt for an egg. We'll have her talk to the Easter Bunny, and as far as the flowers go, I don't know if she will be able to give flowers or receive flowers, but we'll see how that goes. She will definitely want to plant some flowers because we know that she had some flowers out front in the past and they died while she was trying to get her medium skill up, so we will get some flowers planted for certain. So she is just fixing up some food here and doing a very poor job of it, I might add, while the family is sitting here in the kitchen just conversing a little bit on this flower festival morning, and they are just spending some time as a family together, which we love to see, and just having a little bit of nice time talking to one another. Looks like she made a little bit of fruit salad, and I'm just gonna pop that in the fridge so that when everyone is hungry, it will be there for them. As we know, we just need to have food on hand. So I am going to go ahead and just get her upgrading some of these parts, and it looks like they've asked if they can have a sleepover, and Marcus has refused, saying they aren't ready for that. They're just not old enough. So poor little Rebel's like, I just want a sleepover, and he's like, no, absolutely not. And she's decided she's going to come out here and cut some of this grass, which, you know what, I'm actually really glad to see that because it was starting to get really long, and so I'm glad that she is at least going ahead and cutting this grass while they are, it looks like, going ahead and conversing indoors with that flower bunny, which we love. So as you're going to come to see, the family does spend a lot of time together talking and carrying on, and we absolutely have a really close-knit family, but we do have some flowers here that the flower bunny has been tossing around. So I am just going to get Jayden to go ahead and plant those in the front next to the driveway here. That way we can have that next to this area here, and it'll be lovely. Once again, we'll have flowers growing in the front, and we know that she loves having that, and it's a really welcoming touch for the home. As you could see, Rebel and Adelaide were just in there hugging in the kitchen area because, well, Rebel's a sweetheart and he likes to hug. So there is a lot of hugging that goes on in our family. We are a hugging family. And so she is just going behind the Easter bunny, the flower bunny, I guess. And every time he throws down flowers, she's going behind and planting those. Marcus is just hanging out with the children, and they are discussing, you know, where could the eggs be and where should we look? And he's like, you're supposed to look anywhere and everywhere. You know, you can look behind plants or you can look behind furniture. Meanwhile, it looks like the toilet has busted and Rebel's in here mopping it up. So we are going to need to get her in here so that she can fix that. So I'll get her in here and she can go ahead and work on that toilet repair in just a moment. But first, I do want her to go ahead and converse with the flower bunny as well. That way, you know, at least we can say that she has not checked that off of her list of things that she needs to do for this holiday. So she's just like, how are you doing and how's your day? You know, thank you so much for the flowers. I really appreciate that. You know, I had a nice little flower garden in front of the house in the past, but unfortunately they didn't make it, and I'm so glad that you know, threw those flowers out, and I'm gonna have flowers growing in front of the house again. It's gonna be a nice, lovely touch. So she's just thanking the flower bunny for the flowers that he bestowed upon the family, and Now she's gonna, after speaking with the flower bunny and thanking him, she's just gonna go ahead and go inside and repair that busted toilet, because poor Rebel is just in there mopping his little heart away. Meanwhile, Adelaide is out here like, tell me, what do I have to do for candy? And what do I have to do for those eggs? Like, I know that I have to do something, you know? And the flower bunny's like, I can't tell you all the secrets. You've got to figure some things out on your own, little one. It's just something that you got to do. You've got to actually search for it. And she's like, oh, well, I didn't know. No one told me the rules. Meanwhile, he just hands the chocolate to the brother. And Rebel's like, thanks. And she's like, hey, wait a minute. He didn't do anything for the candy. Well, he was mopping the house, right? Marcus is celebrating by singing. So everyone is having a pretty decent flower festival, I would say. They are really getting on and enjoying their day and really enjoying, you know, the celebrations and the festivities. And even the flower bunny is like, this is actually, you know, the festivities are going quite nicely, I think, overall, and everyone's having a really good time. I don't think the children have actually found any eggs or have even tried to search for any eggs, but they have been conversing with the flower bunny quite a bunch, which we love to see. And now that Jayden has finished the repair of the toilet, she has come over to paint something, and the whole family's come to gather around and watch, and they're just in awe of the things that she's able to paint now that she's getting her painting skill up. And so they're just over here like, oh, Mom, it's beautiful. And Marcus is like, honey, I can't believe your painting is getting so good. Like, you should be so proud of yourself. And she's finally reached painting level 6. And he's like, I think that you have really got yourself a talent. Like, I know that you picked this up as a hobby and then you decided to take that job, but I really think, honey, that you've got something here. And she's like, honey, I really appreciate you saying that. Like, I really love doing it. I really do. And he's like, well, you're good at it. You should love doing it. She's like, sweetheart, that is the sweetest thing you could have ever said. Like, your guys' support means so much to me. It honestly really does. And she just feels so much love and support right now with her family all gathered around. I mean, mind you, Rebel was like, Mom, it looks great. I gotta go get me something to eat. But, I mean, I'm sure he thinks everything looks beautiful too. But they've all just gathered around. They want to watch her paint this masterpiece. It's probably not actually a masterpiece, but in their eyes, it's a masterpiece because they've watched their mom and wife go from no skill whatsoever to painting these beautiful pieces of art. And this family makes me so happy just to watch their growth and how close they are and how much they have developed over the time that we've watched them when they first moved in, and everything that they've done since just how far we've come from us going to, you know, from a tent to this little house and watching it grow up from it being haunted to her casting out the ghost, and, you know, now they've got, you know, this tiny little house that they're so proud of, and this loving family that's so supportive of one another. And so she's just talking about, you know, jokes with her daughter, and they're, you know, sharing some inside jokes and talking about fitness and things that are obviously important to Adelaide, because we know that she's definitely into fitness and she's really active, right? And she's just asking, you know, how'd your day go and have you enjoyed the flower festival? And Adelaide's like, Mom, it was wonderful. I love seeing the flower bunny, and I didn't realize how much fun it could really be, but it was really great. And Rebel's gonna come outside, and he's like, hi, sis. I missed you while I was inside eating. And she's like, you weren't gone that long. And as you can see, this family really, really does stick closely together. And then I probably think that's really because they are in such close quarters, right? Like, they all share that same bedroom. So they are a really, really close family. They kind of have to be. They don't have much of a choice. But they just have a really strong bond, all four of them. And she's just going to talk to Rebel about her painting. And he's like, Mom, honestly, I really think that you've got really good skill. And she's like, Rebel, that's so great. It's just so much fun, this painting, that I love it so much. And he's like, Mom, that's great. You know, I think when you love something that you really should do it all the time. And she's like, I agree with you, Rebel. And thank you so much for saying that. And when you find something that you're interested in, I hope you put your whole heart into it the way that I've done with my painting. And he's like, I really will, Mom. So everyone's just gone off inside now. They're just going to grab themselves a bite to eat here because they all are hungry. You know, Rebel kind of helped himself a little bit before. Jayden's just going to have herself a little bit of cake. It looks like we had, Adelaide had herself a little bit of fruit salad. She opted for the healthier version because, as we know, she is a little bit more on the athletic side and cares for the healthier versions, whereas Jayden doesn't really care, it would seem. So the children are just conversing with one another and carrying on, and Jayden is just going to go in here and help herself to a quick shower. And the children are just socializing and being a little mischievous to one another and having a good old time. And like I said, Rebel is such a sweetheart and he absolutely loves giving hugs. We are a hugging family, but he is such a sweet little doll baby. And Jayden here is going to go ahead and be heading off to bed shortly. But before she does, I do want her to go ahead and put Rebel and Adelaide to bed. So she is just going to go ahead and tuck in both of the children. Well, she is going to definitely tuck in Rebel, and she's just going to sit up here with Adelaide, and they're going to have a quick chat before bed, and then she's going to tell her that it's time for her to go ahead and get herself snuggled into the covers, and she's going to spray the monster under the bed for her, and then everyone's going to go ahead and call it a night. So she's like, I will go ahead and spray the monster that you think is under the bed. There isn't one, but I'll spray it, and then it's time for bed. Lights out, nighttime. So Adelaide is going to go ahead and head to bed, and Marcus is going to follow shortly behind, and then I will catch up with you guys in the morning. It is the next morning. It's about 11:20 in the morning, actually. They got themselves a little bit of a late start, and as you can see, Jayden has already been out here painting. She is just appreciating a little bit of her plants. It is spring cleaning day, and she does need to appreciate an object, and they need to make sure they can clean some objects. Everybody did get up and had themselves some breakfast, and they've been kind of just picking up around the house a little bit. Rebel really slept in late this morning. He is just now getting out of bed, and they are just, like I said, running around, picking up around the house, and doing some light house chores on this spring cleaning day here this spring. And then it says here that Jayden wants to volunteer with family. So we're going to go ahead and actually let them go and volunteer with family at the local nursing home. And they're going to go as a family to the nursing home and do some volunteer work because Jayden would love for them as a family to go and do that. So we're just going to go ahead and send them off to the nursing home so that they can go and do some volunteer work now that they've got their spring cleaning done for the day. And now that they've returned back, we say that Adelaide has gotten some empathy from doing that, and so has Rebel. They both received some empathy points for doing some volunteer work. And she's like, well, what did you think of that? I hope you learned some valuable lessons by doing some charity. And he's like, oh, Mom, you bet I did. I had a lot of fun. I listened to some awesome stories that were told to me by the people that we were taking care of, and I never even knew. It was amazing. And I would love for us to be able to go and volunteer again. I didn't know volunteering could actually be so much fun. And she's like, well, I'm glad you feel that way. You should always give back to your community, Rebel. And just like that, he's like, honey, you are an amazing mother. She's like, oh, Marcus, thank you. He's like, I love you so much, dear. And she's like, I love you too, sweetheart. Aww. And she's like, I'm going to go ahead and get over here and I'm going to get some painting done. And he's like, of course you are, dear. You go right ahead and get busy. That's fine by me. I'm just going to go in here and have some light reading to do. So Marcus is going to do a little bit of reading. Rebel is doing a little bit of eating, which is pretty typical of Rebel. And she's just going to do a little bit of painting. Adelaide is doing a little bit of sleeping. So she clearly didn't get enough rest last night, and she is having herself a little bit of a nap. It is about 4:39 p.m., so she's having herself just a late afternoon nap. Volunteering clearly took it out of her, and so, you know, she just needed herself a little bit of a rest. But as you can see, she is just doing a little bit of painting, and Rebel finished having his snack, and so he's come out because he wants to see what his mom's up to, and he's like, well, what are you painting today, Mom? And she's like, Rebel, honey, as much as I love talking to you, and as much as I love having you come and ask me all these questions, sometimes Mom just needs to focus. I can't always be attending to you. And he's like, Mom, I just wanted to ask some questions about it. And she's like, I understand that, son, but if you don't understand, I really am very busy trying to do what I'm doing. And I sometimes just really need to focus. I sometimes just need to be left alone. So he's walked off because his feelings, you know, maybe might be a little bit hurt. And he's putting the book away that his dad was reading. And he's thinking to himself, well, I just really wanted to, you know, talk to her. But that's fine if she wants to be like that. Because, you know, I understand that she's busy, but I just, you know, Adelaide's asleep and I just don't know what to do with myself. So he's pitching a bit of a tantrum. And he's acting out because Mom didn't let him watch her and didn't let her talk her ear off. And so he's making a mess. So Mom's going to give him a timeout and just say, look, we're not going to act like that just because you can't get your way. So timeout for you for making a mess.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
He's like, what do you mean timeout for me for making a mess? It doesn't matter about this stupid little house anyway. So of course, it upset her that he talked to her like that, but that's fine. He's going to sit in his timeout anyway. She's going to clean up the mess he made and then continue on with what she was doing, which was grabbing some pancakes for herself to eat. But she can't believe that he just talked to her like that. And now he's pitching an absolute tantrum because he's having to sit in timeout. Look at him. And Marcus isn't saying a word. He's just letting him do it. Look at him. Everyone's just sitting at the table watching him pitch a fit. They're just ignoring him, acting like it's not even happening. Like, if we don't call attention to the behavior never happened. All except for Jayden. Jayden's like, oh, I'll have none of that. Not only are you going to have a timeout, but I'm going to teach you to say sorry. So they're going to have a little bit of a chat here, and then she's going to actually teach him to say sorry. So she's like, Rebel, look, son, I love you, I do. But when someone is busy doing something and they upset you, you don't start fighting with them and just pitching a fit and a tantrum. And you also don't yell at them, and you don't do, you just don't act like that. And someone gives you a gift and you don't like it, you don't, be rude about it. If someone says something that you don't like, you don't fight with them. If someone, you don't do that. And you're supposed to say you're sorry. You don't want to hurt people's feelings. You don't fight with people. You say you're sorry. You're supposed to say you're sorry. You're supposed to care about how you affect other people, and you're supposed to treat people how you would want to be treated. So if you do something wrong, you're supposed to say you're sorry that you acted a certain way, or you're supposed to say you're sorry that you did something that hurt someone's feelings. So I'm sorry that I didn't let you stand outside with me and whatever the case is. But sometimes mom just needs to work, son. And you doing what you did was not right, and the way you yelled at me was not right, and you should say you're sorry for that. Do you understand? And he's like, oh, I understand. Sorry, Mom. So I think that she finally got through to him, and she did teach him a little bit something about how to, saying sorry and all of that. And she's like, well, that went well. Well, if I can do that, maybe I can teach, Adelaide about some manners. Maybe I can teach her how to say please and thank you for things. And she's just like on this, like, I'm going to teach her how to, say please and thank you kick. I'm going to do all these things, right? I'm just on this, I'm a great parent kick. Teach her to say please and thank you. We're going to make her manners increase. It'll be great. So, yeah, when you want something from someone, you say please. You say thank you. And he's like, yeah, sis, you're supposed to say please and thank you. And he's instigating her, right? Because that's how he is. And clearly their lesson did not go as well as the lesson she had with Rebel went. So their lesson ended quite abruptly, and Marcus is like, honey, I think the parenting lessons are over. How about we just, you and I, have a little slow dance and just calm ourselves down. So that's exactly what they're doing. They're just enjoying one another's company while the children tend to themselves and entertain each other because they are old enough to do so. And he's like, I love you so much, and you are the light of my life. He's like, thank you so much for dancing with me. It means so much to me. Aww. They are so sweet together. They truly are. The cutest thing ever. So she's going to say, well, how did your day go so far? And he's like, my day's been great, honey. It really has. I love spending my day off with you and the children. And it's been a lovely day. But it is 10 o'clock at night and everybody in the family needs to go to bed. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get everyone into bed. And I will check back with you guys in the morning. And it is the next morning, and it is about 6 o'clock in the morning, and today is officially Jayden's birthday. So she is just selling her painting. It is also Love and Hate Day, but we are not celebrating Love and Hate Day. We are just celebrating Jayden's birthday today for this episode. In the next episode, we may go ahead and celebrate Love and Hate Day, but today we are celebrating Jayden's birthday. She is just going to have herself a little bit of breakfast, and then she's going to bake herself a birthday cake. And then we will blow out her candles. But she is just enjoying a little bit of pancakes this morning as she reflects on her life. And it says, I got a present that I think is dumb. I want to trade it. No, you cannot do that. Be grateful. We just had this talk yesterday about presents that you don't like. What did I tell you? You clearly didn't listen to what I just taught you. Rebel seems to thrive on shock and rage of others. Is it time to admit that he likes mischief? Sure. Oh my goodness. Rebel is a handful and a half. I'll tell you that right now. Worrying will not change anything. It won't do us any good from comforting a sibling. Okay. Well, she is just, like I said, reflecting on her life and her young adulthood as she embarks on accepting adulthood. And she's thinking to herself, I can't really complain. She's had it pretty good. I mean, yeah, sure, she traveled to this barren land of the desert in a tent or with a tent. But she built up something beautiful. I've been trying to do homework for school, but the last few assignments have felt really hard. Maybe I'm not smart enough. What do you think? I think you should focus on different topics. We have affected his conflict resolution, which is beautiful. And so she's thinking to herself, I've really done pretty decent for myself. I think that I have really met, all of the life goals that I wanted for myself. I had built up this beautiful home for myself and my family, and she's so happy about that. She's like, I got rid of the ghost in the house, and she's happy about that. She's got 2 beautiful children that, she's in the process of raising that, is got its ups and its downs, but overall, it's pretty good. And she's thinking, life is good. I've got this husband that I adore. I think Jayden is really happy with the progression so far of her life. So she's loving the fact that even though it's her birthday and she's getting to be a little bit older, life as she sees it, it's a good life. So she is just finishing up the batter here, and she's going to put it into the oven so it can bake. She has opted to make herself a hamburger cake, no less. Because, she wants it to be fun for her children. It's not just for her, So while we wait on this cake to bake, she's just listening to her family go on and on in the background there. And we're just going to go ahead and put some candles on this. And we're going to let her blow out the candles, and the family can celebrate with her. So we're going to go ahead and let her blow out the candles and watch her age up to an adult. All right, Jayden, it is time. Happy birthday, Jayden. Adulthood has arrived for you, my lass. Jayden, adulthood, fulfilling dreams, planning for retirement, and midlife crisis await. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and hop into Cass and give Jayden her adult look. Because it is time that she gets a little bit of a makeover. So let's hop into Cass and do that really quick. Alright, and this is what we have given Jayden for her adult makeover. She got herself some new hair, and I have changed up her outfits a little bit. So this is her new everyday look, and her formal did not change. Her athletic did not change. Her sleepwear, her party, her swimwear didn't change. Her hot weather, and her cold weather. So she did have a little bit of change to some of them. But I am going to go ahead and leave this episode here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. But until then, I'm going to fly for now. Bye, Ravens.